next three-dimensional element. If all three dimensions are comparable, then go for three-dimensional element. And these are the special purpose elements. If you are doubt in this, uh, you can ask me, because this is very important step. It is element selection for problems. That is, appropriate element selection is very important thing. If you uh, make the mistake while reading the geometry and in selection of the elements, then it may result in errors, or it may result in more computational time. Okay, now if you have doubt in this case, you can ask me. If you have doubt in this case, you can ask me. Can I go for next? Okay, now I will go to the next. Now after selection of the elements, we will start the meshing. Now for meshing, first step is we have to check the symmetry. Why we have to check the symmetry? Because here, for reducing the computational time, we have to reduce the number of equations. Number of equations. Now, how we can reduce the number of equations? Here we can take the advantage from the problem. That means we can use properties of the problem as a benefit for the meshing. That means for reducing the number of equations or number of elements. Now one of that is symmetry. Now see here, I have written here geometry, material properties and loading. Geometry, material properties and loading, and degree of freedom. Degree of freedom means solution. Now if your geometry, material properties and loading, these are symmetric about an axis or about an plane, or there is a repetitive symmetry, then you can use representative part of the domain for meshing. Means here, if your problem exhibits symmetry in the geometry, symmetry in the material properties, and if there are symmetric loadings, or that problem is related to symmetric loading, then you will get the symmetric solution. Symmetric solution in this situation. Symmetric means same solution you will get at multiple locations. Symmetric solution, then not necessary to go for complete modeling of the problem. That is not necessary to go for modeling of complete or whole domain of the problem. You can select only representative part of the problem, that is known as a symmetry. Now I will explain with the images. Now you see here, you see this image. It is one plate with hole. You have solved this problem in engine design, a plate with hole. Now when we want to solve this type of problem, suppose this is made of single material. This is made of single material, and there is a loading on this side and there is a loading on this side. Now, now here, here, if we consider this vertical axis, this vertical axis and this horizontal axis, okay, or this vertical plane or horizontal plane, then you can see here material is same at this location, material is same at this location, material is same at this location, also material is same at this location. That means see here, material is symmetric about this vertical axis as well as material is symmetric about horizontal axis. Okay, means material is symmetric on both sides of the vertical axis, material is symmetric on both sides of the vertical axis. Okay, now this is first criteria, or this is the second criteria of material properties. And one more thing, if your geometry is symmetric, geometry means if these dimensions and these dimensions are same, then geometry is also symmetric. If suppose geometry is also symmetric, here this geometry is same to this geometry, okay, and if it is same to this geometry and this geometry, that means geometry also symmetric about vertical as well as horizontal axis. Now if you observe the loading, if magnitude of the load is same, it is same load at this location and it is same load at this location, that means it is uniformly distributed over this surface, it is uniformly distributed over this surface, then if you observe this vertical axis, this loading is also symmetric, loading is also symmetric about vertical axis as well as about horizontal axis. Okay, about horizontal axis and about vertical axis. Now if both these things are symmetric, then if we go to the results or degrees of freedom, here whatever solution you will get at this location, at any location on this point, that means at this location, if we take same point in this quadrant, if you take same point in this quadrant and same point in this quadrant, these four results are same. Okay, or these four results or these four degrees of freedom are symmetric about vertical and horizontal axis. Do you agree with this? In this situation, not necessary to model or not necessary to go for the modeling of complete domain of the problem. You can model only 1/4 part of the model. You can model only 1/4 part, and you can interpolate these results on remaining part. That means you can mesh only this part, okay, and this part, meshing of this part will give the results, and that results you can use for this part as well as this part as well as this part. Have you got this idea of symmetry? Have you got this idea of symmetry? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Akshay Shinde, have you got this idea? Yes, Akshay Shinde.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello. Yes,
yes,
sir.
yes. Have you got this idea?
Yes,
Now,
sir.
if you got this idea, then you tell me which type of symmetry we can use for this. That means which part of this is symmetric. You see here, this is also material is same. Here also material is same. This material is same. This material is same. Geometry is also same here, here, here. That means geometry is symmetric about the vertical as well as horizontal axis. Okay, these two criteria are satisfied about vertical and horizontal axis. Now when we go for the loading, now in case of loading, if we consider the vertical axis, this vertical axis, then loading is symmetric about the vertical axis. Do you agree with this? Loading is symmetric about vertical axis, and it is not symmetric about the horizontal axis. Not symmetric about the horizontal axis. In this situation, how we can model? Here we cannot reduce this problem like this, because loading is symmetric about only vertical axis, not symmetric about the horizontal axis. So here when we solve this problem, we will get the same result at this location and at this location. We will not get same result at this location, but result at this location is same to result at this location. Okay, so we can use symmetry about this axis, symmetry about vertical axis. Okay, here we can use symmetry about vertical axis, and we can model only this part of the problem. Okay, and you can use these results for complete analysis of the problem. Okay, now this is about symmetry about this axis. Now I will take one more example. You see here this one. See here I have used the two colors. Meaning of these two colors is, here geometry is symmetric. Uh, this geometry and this geometry, and this geometry, these four geometries, or these four parts of the geometries are symmetric about vertical as well as horizontal axis, but what happens or what is the other thing in the problem? Here this color, this pink color, it is the different material, and this color, it is different material. That means this material is not same to this material. Okay, do you agree with this? Means here but this material is same to this material, and this material is same to this material. Means here geometry is symmetric about both axes, but material is symmetric about only vertical axis, not about the horizontal axis. So whatever results which we are getting at this location, that same results we will get here, but you will not get the same results at this location. But this result we can get same to result at this location. Okay, means here it is symmetric about this vertical axis, it is not symmetric about the horizontal axis. So we need to model this part, okay. Have you got it? Now it is symmetric about this vertical axis, it is not symmetric about horizontal axis. Now next one, you see this case, here this material is different, this material is same to this one, but it is different from this one. Okay, now this is same material and this is same material, that means these two materials are same. Geometry, if this geometry is not symmetric, that means here this size is bigger than this size, you see this one, this size is smaller and this size is bigger as compared to this dimension, that means geometry is not symmetric about this horizontal axis. Okay, now material is symmetric about horizontal axis. Material is symmetric about vertical axis, not horizontal. Vertical axis, it is not same about this horizontal axis, and loading is not symmetric about the horizontal axis. Now here also you can see here, for this problem also we can get the same results, we can get same results at this location and at this location. Here also you will get the same result at this location and at this location, but results at this location are not symmetric about this axis, that means results which you are getting at this location, that same results you will not get at this location. Okay, here you will get the same results at this location and at this location, at the symmetric positions you will get the same results, but about horizontal axis you will not get the same results. Okay, because of the geometry and loading is also not symmetric about this horizontal axis. In this situation we need to model half part of the problem. Now why we are doing this, see here if suppose 50 elements are required, and suppose for 50 elements for each uh, 1/4 part, that is 1/4 part. Okay, means if 50 elements and suppose there are 80 nodes are there, and suppose degrees of freedom per node are 3. Okay, then for 1/4 part we have to solve 240 equations. Okay, for 1/4 part. Here if you model whole domain, then 240 into 4, that is 860 equations we need to solve when we go for complete modeling of complete part or whole domain of the problem. Now 860 equations we are reducing to the 240 equations by using symmetry in this case. Okay, symmetry in this case. Now in this case half symmetry we are using, therefore here 430 equations, 960 nahi hai, 960. Okay, and here 480 equations we need to solve when we use half symmetry. Okay, and here also we need to solve 480 equations, here also we need to solve 480 equations. Okay, see here number of equations, 960 equations we are reducing to the 240 when we use this symmetry, and we can use it. Why? Because we are getting same results. Why we have to solve more number of equations if you are getting same results? Okay, in this way we can reduce the size of the problem by using symmetry. Okay, that means we can reduce the computational efforts. Here 240 equations, for 240 equations we need suppose 1 hour, then for 960 we need 1 into 4 hours, that is 4 hours we need. Okay, and if we go for the computer, that is software, in software some memory is required for each equation, here for 240 equations some memory is required, and more than that is required for 960 equations. Okay, in this way we can reduce the computational efforts and memory required to solve the problems by using symmetry. So first thing you have to check the symmetry. Now what are the different symmetries? What are the different symmetries that we will discuss? Now first symmetry is axis symmetry. First symmetry is axis symmetry. Now I will tell you example of axis symmetry. If when we go for the cylinder under the pressure, that pressure is uniform distributed over the cylinder surface. Now cylinder or this cone, if its geometry is symmetric about this axis, and if loading is symmetric about the axis, then results, whatever results we are getting at this location, same results we are getting at this location. Okay, same results we are getting at this location, at every location. Okay, same results you will get if material is symmetric, if geometry is symmetric, and if loading is symmetric. Then not necessary to go for the meshing of complete cylinder. What you have to do, only you take the section of the cylinder, that is, here your geometry of the cylinder is 3-dimensional. You can convert that geometry into 2-dimensional. And you can mesh only this part, and you can solve the equations on this part only. That will give the results, or that will be sufficient for analysis of the axisymmetric problem. Okay, axisymmetric problem. You see this. Now I will tell you one more example. You see here, this is also one cylinder, and inside that there is a gas pressure, or there is a pressure, and that pressure is acting on all sides of the cylinder. Here material of the cylinder is same, that is symmetric about the axis of the cylinder. Okay. Now see here, when we go for the modeling of this cylinder, it requires huge number of elements, and we need to solve the huge number of equations. Now see here geometry is symmetric, material is symmetric, and loading is also symmetric about the axis. That means same load is acting on this surface, on inner surface of the cylinder. So whatever results, that means whatever deformation you will get at this location, that same deformation you will get at this location. Okay, same deformation you will get at this location, Here also, if you get some deformation at this location, that same deformation you will get at this location, here at this location, because material is same, geometry is same, and loading is also symmetric. So you will get the same results at points on the geometry, on the domain, at symmetric points on the domain. Now in this situation, how we can reduce the size of the problem? That I will explain. See here, this is a 3-dimensional domain. Not necessary to model the 3-dimensional domain. Here you can model it with a 2-dimensional domain. How we can model it with the 2-dimensional domain? I will take this part. See here, in this situation, only this surface, only the surface which is visible here, that can be meshed. I will show you this. You see this one. This surface can be meshed only. Okay, and you can solve the equations on this surface only. You can analyze this surface only. Here you can mesh this with elements. Okay, now you see this one. Here you can do the meshing on this surface only, and here you are using only 2-dimensional elements, here. Okay, now that part only meshed, and remaining part is not considered in the modeling of this cylinder. Now you see here if we go for the complete modeling of the cylinder, you have to use 3-dimensional element, and here we are modeling with the 2-dimensional elements. Now loads are same at this location. Here these are the loads, or this is the gas pressure. Okay, this is gas pressure we are applying on this surface, and that same will be solved. And after solving this, whatever the stresses you are getting here or at this location, that same stress you will get at this location. Okay, now in this way we can reduce the size of the problem, and when we reduce the size of the problem, we can have to solve less number of equations, so computational time will be reduced. Now this is about the axis symmetry. Any doubt in this case? Any doubt in this case? Arman Atar, have you doubt? Arman?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, is it clear? Okay. Now this is first type of symmetry. Second type of symmetry is a rotational symmetry. Rotational symmetry. I will show you this by image. You see here, if this is the object, and here uh, there is one rotational axis. And your geometry is symmetric about that rotational axis, and material properties are symmetric about this rotational axis. And one more thing, if loading is symmetric about the rotational axis, that means suppose there is a uniform pressure on this surface, or one single load at the center of this domain, that means on the axis here. Okay, it will develop same effect on or around this axis, around the rotational axis. Am I right? So not necessary to model the complete domain of this problem. Here also you can model only representative part of the model, and see this representative part. This part you can model only, and this part, and results of this part you can use for complete analysis of the domain. That means whatever results you are getting here, that same result you will get here, okay. So because it is symmetric, that means everything is symmetric, material is symmetric, geometry is symmetric. Next, loading is also symmetric, that means when we apply the load at the center, it has same effect on other sides of the, or on other, or it has symmetric effect about the axis. Okay, so you can see this we can model, that is representative part of that we can model, and we can solve only this part. In this way we can reduce the size of the problem. Okay, next type is planar symmetry. Already I have explained. You see here, this is also one plate with hole. It is already meshed up, and it is a complete domain. Actually this type of solution is, or this approach of the solving the problem, it is not correct, because here it is a fixed, this is fixed, that is this edge is supported. Okay, and loading is at this location. Now if it is symmetric, not necessary to go for complete modeling. Here it is symmetric about this vertical plane, as well as it is symmetric about horizontal plane. Now in this situation you can use only 1/4 part of the geometry. You can use only 1/4 part. This part, and application of load on this part, this is symmetric boundary condition. Okay, now this solution of this part only is sufficient for getting the results of whole domain of the problem, or for analysis of the behavior of complete problem. Okay, this is a planar symmetry, that means it is symmetric about this vertical plane as well as horizontal plane. Okay, next symmetry is repetitive symmetry. Now you see here, this is object. Here this is a pipe, and there are some openings at these pipes. Okay, now these openings are at same distance, okay. So not necessary to model the whole pipe. You can model only representative or only single part. Okay, and that you can use as a solution. You can see here, this model, this part you can model, and this part, modeling of this part, that is meshing of this part, and solution over this part is sufficient to analyze the complete behavior of the domain. Okay, This is known as a repetitive symmetry. Next is a cyclic symmetry. In case of your drum, okay, wheel drum. Now here, here this is a cyclic symmetry. It is symmetric about the cyclic axis. Okay. Now this is not good way. You have to take only a representative part, and that will be the sufficient for your analysis. Okay. Next is, okay, is there any doubt in the any symmetry? Here symmetry is important because maximum problems are symmetric. If we go for the car body is symmetric about the its axis, or it's a longitudinal axis. Truck is also symmetric about longitudinal axis. Am I right? So not necessary to go for the analysis of the complete car. If loading is symmetric, then not necessary to go for complete analysis of the car body. You can use symmetry for that. Is there any doubt? Dheeraj Sawan? If you have doubt, you can ask me. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes. Who is asking doubt? Yes. Dheeraj Sawan. Havaldar? Jai Patil. Have you doubt?
No, sir.
Have you got everything you have got?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, I will go to the next. Now, see, after reducing the size of the problem by using symmetry, you have to select the elements. Already I have explained how to select the elements. That is how when we go for the one dimensional elements, when we go for two dimensional elements, same thing. I will not go, repeat this. Here, one dimensional element, if one dimension is bigger as compared to other two dimensions, you have to go for one dimensional, two dimensional elements. See here shapes of the two dimensional elements are triangular element and chord element, and this is tetrahedron, rectangular prism, or brick element. Okay, this is damper. Now, can you select the elements for the problem? Can you select the elements for the problems? If I give one problem, can you select the elements for that problem? If I ask to select the elements for the problems, can you do it? Can you do it?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Now you are working on Baha Supra, then Formula SE, all these competitions. Now, which elements you will prefer for the chassis of that body, or chassis of that vehicles, these vehicles? Try race. Yes, Jyotiba.
Triangle. One time.
Yes, Jyotiba. Jyotiba.
One dimensional triangular, sir.
One dimensional triangle is not one dimensional. Triangle is two dimensional. One dimensional element is line element. You have to remember. Triangle is two dimensional. Here you see the geometry. Geometry one dimensional geometry कुठली असते? Line असते ना. And triangle is two dimensional geometry. Rectangle is also two dimensional geometry. It has two dimensions. This is, see here, it has only one dimension, length. Okay, it has only one dimension. It is length. Triangle or rectangle, it has two dimensions. This is depth and this is width. Okay. Now, if we go for these three, these are the three dimensional. This requires width, depth, and thickness. It is not, triangle is not one dimensional thickness. Here, this is basic thing. Now, Ketan Sanam, which element you will prefer for chassis of the Baha vehicle? Ketan Sanam. Whether he is present or not. I think Ketan Sanap is absent today. Next, Kunal Patil.
Sir,
हाँ, Kunal Patil. Yes, speak.
Yes, sir. Don't know about Baha vehicle, sir.
Supra.
No, sir. I am not in Supra.
Have you seen that vehicles? Okay. Uh,
May
Zai Patil, you are working with Baha vehicle, na? Baha team. Zai Patil.
Yes, sir.
Which element you will prefer for chassis frame?
So 2D only triangle.
See here, you have to use one-dimensional element because these are the pipes
Yes,
now. Pipes
yes.
having small diameters. Am I right? If you go for the frame, these are the pipes of small diameters, and you can do it by two-dimensional also. But for that purpose, you have to measure the surface of that pipes. Are you getting this? Okay. Now, one-dimensional beam elements or one-dimensional
Hello.
elements. Yes.
सर पाईपला सरफेस दिला 2 डायमेन्शनल कसं मग ते 3 डायमेन्शनल झालं ना
Okay, I will show you. See here, you have this type of pipes. I will explain here. I will explain here. You see this one. You have pipe like this. Am I right? Now this is a pipe here. Okay. If we consider one dimensional, it is also acceptable because its length is big as compared to its diameter. Now, when we go for the thickness of these pipes, how much thickness you have used for your vehicles?
2 mm 1.5 mm like that
2 mm or 1.5 mm. Am I right? Now, if it has small thickness, then you can see here. You can see here. Here, in this case, this condition is satisfied. Okay, by first one. Now you go to this one. Now it has 1.5 or 2 millimeter thickness. Means it is like a surface, na? Do you agree with this? It's a see here.
Yes, sir.
Its length is high. Its this diameter is big, but its a thickness. Its a thickness is very small. Am I right? Its thickness
sir.
is small. So here, one-dimensional or two-dimensional elements can work for this type of problem, but three-dimensional elements will not work for this type of problems. Okay, if you go for the three-dimensional elements and it has very small thickness, these elements are fail in its thickness. If you go for this one, see here, surface you can create on the pipe. I will use other color. Surface you can use here, but you have to give the thickness, na? You have to give the thickness. Now see here, already I have told you, ideal element is the element having all dimensions are same. Okay, means all these edges of same length, that element is considered as the ideal element. Okay, now here you will get base like this, and height you will get up to here only. You can see here this shape of element. I will draw here separately here. Okay, if I give the height for this element in this pipe section, then you will get only this height. You see here. Okay, do you agree with this? That means it is a tetrahedron, but it is like a flat tetrahedron with very small amount of height. That is a failure of the element. Do you agree with this? This is the failure. See here, minimum, it is known as failure in aspect, or it is a tet collapse, we can say in software language. Okay, if height of the tetrahedron is very small, then it will not, or software will not accept that type of elements. Do you agree with this? So this type of domains you have to model by using two-dimensional elements. Don't go for three-dimensional elements. If you have sufficient height, then you have to go for three-dimensional element. That means if your diameter is big, this is a small inner diameter and outer diameter is like this. Outer diameter is like this. If this gap is very high, or it is suppose 10 millimeter or 20 millimeter, then you can use three-dimensional element. But if it is a 1 or 2 millimeter gap here, then not don't go for three-dimensional element, otherwise that will fail. You agree with this? So here your supra vehicles or Baha vehicles, frames of supra vehicles, Baha vehicles are meshed by using one-dimensional or two-dimensional elements. Generally, one-dimensional elements are preferred, but for crash analysis, one-dimensional elements are not supporting. So, for this type of analysis, we have to go for two-dimensional elements. Okay. Now, again, I will ask one question. Now, if we go for the car body, which element you will prefer for car body meshing? Pawan Londe. Pawan Londe, whether he is here or not? Mahesh Talte.
Yes, sir.
Which element you will prefer
Hello.
for car body?
Three-dimensional.
See here, car body is like sheet metal, na? It is made up of sheet metal.
Two-dimensional.
मी सांगितलं की per two dimension. And which element? Okay, I will ask to next. Nikhil Kabade. Nikhil Kabade. Are you here? Which element you will prefer for driver seat? Modeling of the sheet. Okay, some students are not here. Here I will take strict action. Pandit.
Yes,
Pandit,
sir.
can you hear?
Yes, sir.
Which element you will prefer for driver seat?
3D elements.
See here we are not using cushions, just the metal part in the driver seat. If we go for the driver seat of your Baha vehicle or Supra vehicle, which element you will prefer? Yes, Pandit.
Yes, sir.
Which element you will prefer for seat of the driver for Baha vehicle or Supra vehicle?
2D, sir.
2D, because it is a sheet metal part. Am I right? Now
Yes,
here you think on it. You take some parts. You have to take the image of parts of the vehicle and you select the elements for this type of parts. Okay. Now this is about the selection of the elements. Next one, size of the elements. Now how to decide the size of the elements? Now while deciding the size of the elements, see here, if we use very fine mesh means when we use very small elements, then it will give the better and better result. That means accuracy will be improved when we use smaller and smaller elements. Okay, there is no special rule for size of the elements. But when we reduce the size of the elements, then number of equations are increased. Okay. So you have to optimize the size of the elements. How we can optimize the size of the elements? See here, while meshing, you should have image of the results in front of you. Okay. See here, and that will be that can be obtained from the understanding of the problem. Means here, if you have fin, and here it is a temperature thermal source or heat source, then you can understand at this location your temperature is maximum. Are you getting this? Now if you have a domain like this, and if I apply the load at this location, I can get here deformation will be maximum before solution of the problem. What is the value we cannot get, but I can get at this location deformation will be maximum. Am I right? That type of image you should have in front of you. Now based on this you start the meshing. Now see here, if you have plate at with hole at the center, and if I apply the load at this location, you can understand I am getting the maximum stresses at this location. Do you agree with this? I can get the maximum stresses at this location. That means stress concentration points are critical locations that you can get before solution of the problem. Am I right? Before solution of the problems, you can get the critical locations on the domain. Now, how we can optimize this meshing? Here, at critical location, that means where there is a stress concentration or where there is a high heat flow rate, at that location you have to use smaller elements, and on the uniform regions, you can use bigger elements. Okay, here smaller elements are capturing more accuracy, okay, or giving more accurate results. Now that accuracy we need at the critical zones, but at location or at uniform surface or uniform geometry, we are not getting the gradient of the variation of the field variable, gradient of the or big gradient of the variation of the field variable. That means there will not be sudden variation in the results of the problem, results or solution of the problem when there is a uniformity in the geometry. Okay, you see here, this is a uniform geometry. This is uniform geometry. At this location, your variation of the result is constant. Do you agree with this? There is no sudden variation in the results. Means it is known as a gradient of the variation of the results. There is no high gradient of the variation of the results. But if we go to this location, at this location there is a sudden variation in the results. Okay. Now here you have to use smaller elements, and at this location you can use bigger elements. In this way we can optimize the size of elements and you can optimize the number of elements. Okay. Next one, how we can decide the number of elements. Now see here, while deciding the number of elements, you have to start with the coarse meshing. You mesh your model. See here, it is an iterative process. You mesh your model with less number of elements and you check the accuracy in the results. Now that you cannot get from the solution. Okay. Now see here I have drawn a circle and I want to mesh the circle, that is this perimeter. First, initially I have meshed it with the 3 line elements. This is not triangle, these are the 3 line elements. This is element number 1, element number 2, element number 3. I have meshed this circumference by these 3 elements. Now in this case I got 30% accurate results. Okay. Now I want to improve the accuracy. So here, for improving the accuracy, then I have to increase the number of elements. In next step, I have increased the number of elements. That is, I have used the 4 elements. This is 1 element, 2 element, 3 element, and 4 element. Now when I use 4 elements, here I have improved the accuracy and I got the 50% accuracy. Again I have increased the number of elements. Here I have used the 6 elements. Okay, 6 elements, and in 6 elements I have got some accuracy more than 50% and less than 80% here. Okay, here. Now again that accuracy is not acceptable. I have to increase the number of elements. I have increased the number of elements to 8. For 8 I got 80% accuracy, and for 16 I got 90% accuracy. For 32 I got 95% accuracy. Okay, and after 32, that means you will get 1 point or 1 bond. After that your accuracy will not be improved. That means after 32, if you observe this accuracy of the result, it will not be improved, it will not change. Okay, it will be decreased. Do you agree with this? That means you have to stop the increasing of the elements after this location. After this location, see here, you start with the coarse mesh. That means 3 elements I have used here. After that, I have increased the elements. I have taken 4 elements, 8 elements, 16 elements, 32 elements. And after 32 elements, when you observe the solution, there will not be significant effect on the solution on results. Okay, then you have to stop the increase in the number of elements. ओके, म्हणजे तुम्ही सुरुवातीला काय करायचं, कमी एलिमेंटनं मेश करायचं, नंतर वाढवायचे एलिमेंट, नंतर वाढवत 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 जायचे आणि तुम्हाला एक लोकेशन असं येते, एक सिच्युएशन अशी येते की तिथून पुढे तुमचे रिझल्ट इम्प्रूव्ह होत नाहीत आणि जिथून पुढे रिझल्ट इम्प्रूव्ह होत नाही तिथं तुम्ही थांबायचं. ओके, डू एग्री विथ दिस? In this way, you have to decide the number of elements. We cannot say initially how many number of elements we have to take, but you have to improve the accuracy by increasing the number of elements, and after certain limit, you will not get the improvement in the accuracy. At that location, you stop to increase in number of elements. That is the optimum number of elements. Okay, have you got it? If you are doubt, you can ask me. Next one, this is the first step actually in the meshing, that is finite representation of the infinite bodies. Now see here I have taken the dam. Here I have taken the dam. Now I want to mesh the dam. See here, dam is very big. Okay, when you consider the domain of the dam, it is very big. Now, and boundary conditions of that dam are not well defined boundary conditions. That means end of the dam is not well defined. Okay, but you know there is a critical pressure at the location where depth of the water is very high, that is maximum. Okay, means depth of the water at this location, suppose it is a maximum depth. At this location, you will get the maximum pressure on the dam, okay, as compared to other locations. Am I right? In this situation, you can model only this part of the domain. And you can use same results for designing the remaining part of the domain. Do you agree with this? Dam is for complete river. That means from start of the river to the from start of one end of the river to the other end. Okay, but at middle location there is a high pressure, and that is the critical zone. At the location where depth of the water is maximum. Okay, that critical zone only you have to analyze, and results of that critical zone you have to use for constructing complete dam. Okay, same thing I will show you here. Here, this is the foundation of the one machine. Now, when we consider the foundation, near to the foundation or near to the leg of the machine, you have critical vibrations. And when we go away from that support, you will get the less vibrations. Okay, less vibrations. So what you have to do, you model only part of the foundation which is in the critical zone, and remaining part not necessary to model, because we are not constructing or we are not using the variable thickness for the foundation or variable dimensions for the foundation. We are using same dimensions. If your foundation is safe in critical zone, it will be safe in remaining part. Okay, same thing will happen here. Here in dam, if your dam is safe at critical location, then it will be safe away from the critical location. This is known as the finite representation of infinite body, because these bodies are infinite bodies. There is no specified or no well defined end conditions. Okay, so you have to model only critical zone. Okay, next location of nodes. Already I have told you what is the location of nodes. Here, in case of location of nodes, when geometry, material properties and loading is suddenly changed, you have to put the node at that location. You see here, at this location there is a concentrated load. That means there is a sudden change in the load. Okay, sudden change in the load, you have to put the node at this location. If we observe here, upper part of this domain is still below is aluminum. So here at this edge, there is a sudden change in the material properties. When there is a sudden change in the material properties or material, you have to put the nodes. Here up to here there is uniform load, and at this location there is a sudden variation in the load, and from here to here there is a uniform load. So you have to put the node at this location. Okay. Now next one, here geometry is same, already you have done it up to here, and from here to here this geometry is different. You put the node at this location. This is a crack in the plate. You see here, when there is a crack, there is a gap. That means your material properties are changed here. Okay, our geometry is also changed. So you have to put the nodes at these locations. It is simple thing for understanding, and based on this, here this is a theoretical part. You can use the node locations. This is not when we work on the software. This is not useful when we work on the software location of nodes. Software will automatically decide the location of the nodes. Okay. Next one, node numbering. Node numbering. Okay. Now, can you tell me the stiffness matrix for if I use element of stiffness matrix equal to 1? What is the stiffness matrix for first case? Can anyone tell? Prashant Kale. Can you tell what is the size of, suppose this is a one-dimensional problem, and k element of stiffness matrix for all elements is 1. That means for first element k is equal to k1 is equal to, it is 1 minus 1 minus 1 1, and for second element is also same, third element is also same, fourth element is also same, fifth element is also same. Okay, your element numbers, I will write here element numbers. This is your element number 1, this is your element number 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements are there, and degree of freedom per node is 1. Okay, before going to that, you tell me what is the size of the stiffness matrix for this. What is size of stiffness matrix?
7 by 7.
6 by 6.
Yes, 6 by
7
6.
by 7.
6 है ना, 6 6 6. अक्षय पाटील
6 by
6 by
6.
6.
सर
6 by
6 कसं येणार?
हा 6 नोड आहेत ना, 1 2 3 4 5 6 नोड आहेत. Okay, 6 nodes means
Okay,
if we can say yes, you have got it. Now 6 by 6 stiffness matrix. Now in this case you will get the stiffness matrix, and if I use 1 minus 1 minus 1 1 is a common stiffness matrix for all elements, then you will get, this is a stiffness matrix for first case. Am I right? You see this one, is it for first case? First element it is 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Now second element 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. For third element 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Fourth element 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Fifth element 1 minus 1 minus 1 1. Is it correct?
Yes sir, बरोबर.
बरोबर है ना? Now you see here. Now if you observe the bandwidth here bandwidth is 2. Bandwidth is 2. Okay, bandwidth is 2. Now already I have explained what is the bandwidth and what is the banded matrix. Bandwidth of this matrix is 2. Okay, now what happens in softwares, or in some softwares, there is a provision of solving the problems on this by using only elements or non-zero elements in the bandwidth of the matrix. That means these softwares are storing only elements in this area, that these non-zero elements. Okay, these non-zero elements. So these zero elements are not necessary to store in the stiffness matrix. म्हणजे जेवढा सॉफ्टवेअर मध्ये हे स्टिफनेस मॅट्रिक्स स्टोअर होतो ना, तेव्हा ते फक्त बँडविड्थ मधलेच नॉन झिरो एलिमेंट आहे ते स्टोअर करतं. त्यामुळे जे झिरो एलिमेंट आहेत ना, हिअर फॉर झिरो एलिमेंट्स not necessary to store that zero elements. Okay, by using that only software can solve the equations. Okay, do you agree with this? Now when we go for the second case means second case, here this is again, you can see here your element number 1, element number 2, element number 3, 4, 5. Same model is there, same model, same stiffness matrix, just I have changed the node numbering scheme. When we use this node numbering scheme, you will get this type of stiffness matrix. You can see here. Is it correct? You check it. Here first node is connected, first element is connected to node number 1 and 6. Therefore, you will get 1 at this location and at this location. Am I right? Have you got Akshay Patil? बरोबर का?
Yes, sir.
Now your second element, it is 6 and 2. 6 and 2. Here I will show you. This is element number 1, for this also for element number 1, and this also for element number 1. Out of these two, one is for element number 2. Okay, and your element number 2, it is connected to 2, 6. Therefore, you will get non-zero term here, next here, next here, and here. Am I right? Do you agree with this? Now same thing will happen for third element, fourth element, and fifth element. You can write this type of stiffness matrices by using node numbering. Okay. See here the nodes which are not connected to the elements, you will get zero term in that row and column. Okay. Now if you observe this matrix, here you will get the scattered non-zero elements. Here your bandwidth is 6, because non-zero term is here, non-zero term is here. Do you agree with this? Okay. Now for this type of stiffness matrices, you have to store all the elements of the stiffness matrix. Okay. So if size of the stiffness matrix is increased, then locations required to store the all elements of the stiffness matrices are more. Okay. Do you agree with this? Therefore, node numbering scheme is playing very important role while developing the stiffness matrix, and locations required to store the stiffness matrix, or it is directly affected on the memory required to store the stiffness matrix. Okay. Now here here in case of one dimensional problems, successive node numbering scheme is giving better stiffness matrix. Okay, and it will give smaller bandwidth. Now see here, from these two cases I will tell you definition of the bandwidth. See here, bandwidth is the maximum difference between the numbered degree of freedom. Numbered degree. See here, it is not node number. It is numbered degree of freedom at the ends of the any member. At the ends of the any member plus 1 into degree of freedom at each node. Okay, at each node. Now see here, in first case, this is the first degree of freedom. This is second degree of freedom. This is third degree of freedom. Fourth degree of freedom, fifth degree of freedom, sixth degree of freedom. Now see here, if you observe the difference between two successive degrees of freedom, or maximum difference between the two degrees of freedom of any element, then it is a 1. Okay, 1. Here it is 1. Next, plus 1 into degree of freedom per node. Degree of freedom per node for this case, it is 1. So 2 into 1, it is a 2 degree of freedom, or 2 is the bandwidth for first case. 2 is the bandwidth for first case. Okay. Now second case, if you observe this one, this is the first degree of freedom. Okay, this is the first degree of freedom, or this is the first degree of freedom. This is the sixth degree of freedom. Sixth degree of freedom. Maximum difference between these two is 5. Maximum difference between these two is 5 plus 1 into 1 is the degree of freedom per node. 5 plus 1 into 1, it is 6, and that is the bandwidth for this case, second case. Okay, for second case the bandwidth is 6. Okay, have you got this concept? Have you got this? Okay. Now it is last slide. Now you see this. If we consider the 2 degrees of freedom per node, here at this location 1, 2, at this location 3, 4, at this location 3 4 here it is 5 6 7 8, okay, and here it is 9 10, and here it is 11 12, okay. Now maximum difference in numbered degrees of freedom. Here minimum degree of freedom, here it is 1, maximum is 12, means 12 minus 1, 12 minus 1, and degree of freedom per node is 2 here, because at each node there are 2 degrees of freedom. Therefore 12 plus 1 is 13, 13 into 2, 26 is the bandwidth required for this case, okay. Now can you tell me what is the degree of freedom required for this case, or second case? If same problem, if I have given node numbering like this, what is degree of freedom for this? अक्षय पाटील सांगताय का? Here you have 1 2 2, here it is 3 4 4, here it is 21, 21 into 2 2 4 42, 41 42, 41 42, okay. Next here it is 43 44, okay. Here first degree of freedom, second degree of freedom, third degree of freedom, fourth degree of freedom, 44th degree of freedom, 41st degree of freedom, 42nd degree of freedom, 43rd degree of freedom, 44th degree of freedom, okay. Here maximum difference is 44 minus 1, 44 minus 1, okay, it is 43, plus 1, it is 44, 44 into 2 degrees of freedom, it is 88, okay. So bandwidth for this stiffness matrix is 88, and bandwidth for this stiffness matrix is 11 into 2 22, okay. You can see here, if we increase the bandwidth, number of locations required are more, so this node numbering scheme is better than this one, okay. Now you see here, this is banded matrix bandwidth. Now here your first unit is over. If you have doubt, you can ask me. On last 2 slides, I think there may be doubt. Last 2 slides. One more concept is here. Meshing of critical zones. Okay. Sorry. Meshing of critical zones. Here critical zones are this one. Here you have to reduce the number of elements, and for circle, if you have circular holes are there, then you have to use the washer of the elements like this. And on washer you have to use even number of elements, and diameter of the washer is 1.2 2 times the diameter of the hole. That you will get in the practicals also, during the practicals on this one, okay. Now here you have end of first unit. If you have doubt, you can send me query on WhatsApp, okay. Time is also over. अक्षय शिंदे, काय डाउट आहे का? Yes? Okay. If you have doubt, you can ask me. Now 5 minutes are only remaining for next lecture. I will end the meeting.